Most parties who bring a lawsuit for a personal injury action are most likely going to face a request by the defense that they submit to a medical examination. That medical examination is going to be performed by a doctor that the insurance company chooses. And there's a lot of confusion about what can happen, how it can happen, when it can happen, and all of those things. I'm attorney Bob Byrne, and in this video, I'm going to discuss 5 things that everyone who is going to undergo a medical examination in a personal injury lawsuit needs to know. So let's jump right in. So the first thing to understand about a medical examination is that you do have some rights. When you have to undergo one of these examinations, you will go and you will meet with the defense doctor, and that doctor usually will have reviewed all of your medical records. They're going to do a brief kind of question and answer, and then they're going to do an evaluation. Maybe perform some tests, ask you to show your range of motion, things like that. If it's a neurological injury like a TBI, they may ask questions to determine your cognitive abilities. Depending on the judge and the jurisdiction, you should have the right to have either someone present to observe so that you have a witness as to what happened, or you might be able to have the entire examination videotaped or audio taped. And those are things that can be very, very important to keep the defense doctor honest, because otherwise it's going to be a he said, she said situation. You might have to actually go and ask the judge to impose some of those limitations. A second thing to understand about these defense medical examinations is that the defense is going to want to say that this is an independent evaluation. They're going to say this doctor has no interest in this situation. They're unbiased. They're not trying to help one side or the other. They're just coming in to offer an evaluation after reviewing the patient and their records and evaluating their condition. Now, what's important to understand is that it's the defense who is paying this doctor, sometimes as much as $1,000 an hour or more. They select who the doctor is. This doctor's probably worked for them or their insurance company in the past and has a relationship where perhaps they've earned hundreds of thousands of dollars up to many millions of dollars performing these types of evaluations. And so it can be a gift in some sense when they start saying that they're independent. Because obviously if they're receiving tons of money and they're doing lots of work for a particular attorney or a particular insurance company, it creates a picture that that doctor is biased and the doctor is trying to please a customer that pays him an awful lot of money. A third thing to understand about a defense medical examination is that some doctors will start asking questions because they may want to look for inconsistencies in your stories. It's always important. I will have as a parameter of an examination that a doctor can't ask questions about the underlying event because they're oftentimes going to try to find or even manufacture inconsistencies in the story that the plaintiff has told, either in a deposition, to a police officer, or something else. A fourth thing to understand about defense medical examinations is that oftentimes certain kind of sneaky defense attorneys will set a trap around these types of examinations. They may hire, for example, a private investigator who sits outside of the doctor's office and is there with video equipment to record the plaintiff as they walk into the facility. And they may show, oh look, this person was walking just fine. This person didn't seem to have any issues. And so that could be called sub rosa or surveillance video. And it's often arranged in connection to a defense medical examination because that's a time when the defense attorney knows where the plaintiff is going to be. And so they can kind of set it up so that they will be there to have their private investigator intercept and shoot videos of the plaintiff. A fifth thing to understand about defense medical examinations is that a lot of times doctors will try to set up a gotcha type moment where they're going to look at your various complaints and your limitations that are reported and all of the symptoms that you talk about, and then they will try to run tests that will provoke those symptoms or that may cause you to have some sort of a response. And then what they'll do is they'll say, well, either the response wasn't appropriate to the level of what they're dealing, or the response didn't seem authentic, or they claim that they were grimacing and hurting when I did this to them, but yet when I poke them in a certain spot where they should have had pain, they didn't have a response at all. And so they're trying to create this image that the plaintiff isn't hurt at all, and they're just essentially fabricating all of their symptoms. And so for me, I actually like it when they do that, because I want to confront them during cross-examination and say, doctor, are you suggesting that my client was lying when they indicated that they were in pain? Well, no, I'm not saying that. Okay, well, doctor, are you suggesting that they were lying when they told their doctor that they were having these symptoms? And just confront them and ask, are they trying to defraud the court? Are they essentially perjuring themselves? And it's something that most doctors are going to completely back away from, and they don't want to take that position, but it's important to push them to find out if that's what they're going to say. If you have a case and you have an upcoming defense medical examination, make sure you meet with your attorney and go over the order, go over some of the ground rules to make sure you understand exactly what you're getting into. Your attorney, if they're experienced, has dealt with this many times, and they should be able to walk you through it. Certain types of doctors for certain types of injuries have certain types of tricks that they like to use, and it'd be nice to know about them. So I hope this is helpful. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and liking this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Any comments, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much, and stay tuned for more videos.